We saw a lot of hockey. We saw a lot of great hockey, and you know what the best part about it is? We didn't see any blowouts. We saw teams, honestly, no runtime games whatsoever. Everything was competitive, and just the atmosphere around there. I mean, we saw what the Golden Knights have done to that city, and basically just that complex alone. And was it City National Arena? The absolutely outstanding job. They have just an outstanding fan base, and you know what? We started getting the trickle off from the restaurant in between, and we had some pretty good crowds to watch our games.
What a great experience for all the teams. From all the teams that did not go, I have spoke to several different coaches across the league. They're very excited about trying to make this happen for next year. So what a great time. We had a blast. Great calls, some great games. Obviously the J. Sarah Damien game was one that really comes to mind. There was a good crowd for that one, and very exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, especially next year. I guess the league's in talks already. I think we might be headed out to the desert again next season.
A couple more teams too. We're working on.
It's got to expand. Yeah, we gotta get bigger.
Expansion is coming.
All right, let's get to our guests here today because they got a game coming up. They're going to play Edison a little bit later on, a game at 12 p.m. that you can see on Black Dog Hockey, Tahoe Hockey Academy. The boys from Tahoe joining us. We have Coach Leo Fenn and Blake Selden and Pavel Pustovoy here with us. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. We're glad you could join us here so we could talk a little bit about your program. Leo, of course, we'll start with you. Let's talk about how different this program is than any of the others that are in Division I. That's obviously a prep hockey academy, and you guys are doing some great things up there to get the boys ready for the next level.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. First of all, it's a privilege to be here. We really appreciate that. We've opened California's first prep boarding school. Very honored to have 30 players up there this year, 30 student athletes who are participating in the Anaheim High School Hockey League. And we also do some traveling and participate in some various prep tournaments around the country as well.
Yeah, so let's talk to Blake and Pavel real quick. I'll let you guys answer. Talk about playing the prep team and then the league team, of course. Now, what do you guys see as the biggest difference between league play and when you go out and play your prep games? How do you see the competition level varying?
The prep games are a little bit faster, but there's a lot of skill in both leagues, and you'll see there's bigger guys usually in the prep games, and that's mainly the biggest difference.
When we talk about competition, last night you guys had a game against J. Sarah over at Lakewood, and you came right out of the gate and played very well. How did you guys see that game shaping up there early on?
Well, we had Alex Boyko score a big one right off the bat. He had 2 that game, and Alan had 3. So usually those guys, you don't see that out of them. So they played great. And that really helped us win. Without them,
guys, one of my keys to the game last night was a quick start for you guys. To be able to come in after maybe not having what you guys wanted for a start to your season. I knew right from the get-go that if you guys got to it, and you guys did, that it was going to be very tough to beat you.
Yeah, I had heard that. I had heard that you predicted a quick start for us. I said Mike has some insight. I've had the pleasure of coaching with Mike in the past. So we did ask the boys for a quick start. We were looking for that right from the beginning. And the boys came out fired up, ready to play, and really, really proud of their performance and their effort last night.
Coach, maybe you could talk a little bit about your campus and your environment in Tahoe. I was very fortunate to get up there a couple weeks ago to see what you guys have. I was very impressed from a community standpoint. What a beautiful town. Tahoe is just a great place, and then the rink facility and everything that goes along with that. And then it was so nice to be able to get out there to your dormitory and your eating area and stuff and have a meal with you guys. So I really enjoyed that. So thank you again. But what a great spot, what a great experience. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you guys have in store for the future?
Sure. First of all, that was a unique experience, going to battle against each other and then dining with the team that you just finished a game with. I think definitely puts a different perspective, kind of like the Silver Stick, where it's about the camaraderie between the players and the teams. But we've built a campus up there. We have 16.2 acres, beautiful Tahoe, South Tahoe area. We just finished our dorm, which holds approximately, can expand between 40 and 80 players. 2 floors. We have a varsity on 1 floor, prep on the other floor. And then we have common area lodge, which has the dining hall, commercial kitchen, admin offices, and players lounge, as well as a rec area for them as well. That's our phase 1. Phase 2 will be breaking ground probably in the spring next year. And we're going to add a 15,000 square foot dorm, and we're looking to add at least 2 more teams and training facilities there as well.
Pavel, maybe you could talk a little bit about your daily routine and schedule, what it looks like to be a student athlete at Tahoe, and your academic schedule, and then obviously your athletic schedule as well. We're all interested to hear about it.
Yeah, so in the mornings we go to practice for about a couple hours, and then from there we head to school. After school we have a beautiful gym that we go to, and then we stay in school. We have tutors. If anything, we go and do some online school, and then whatever homework we need to do. That's around about 6 p.m. We're done with our day.
Yep.
That's free time.
And then we just go back to the dorms, have free time, dinner, hang out with the boys.
What do you guys do during your free time? You mentioned free time.
Well, free time is as long as the grades are in order.
Well, free time.
I was
free time
waiting for that, Coach.
We play basketball when it's not snowing. We have NHL set up, so we usually do tournaments. We just got a poker table.
Oh, wow.
And we've been hitting that up a
I
lot.
did see a ping pong table, which I know that
Yeah.
if I was there, I'd be at that table quite a
Yeah,
bit.
we use it quite a bit. But really, like now, what we do is poker. We're pretty into that.
All right.
Blake, we talk about
City for it, yeah.
what the daily routine is and how you balance playing hockey with the schoolwork. You were just named team captain as well, so I'm sure that's a little extra that's on your plate. What was it like to be named captain of this team and to be able to be the main leader with this club?
It was pretty exciting. I'm happy to be able to lead this team and do the best I can to help us win some games here. And yeah, it was nice.
On the other side, if I could ask Pavel just quickly, newer to the program, I was talking to Leo right before we went on the air, and he was mentioning how great your progress was in just 3 months. What's it been like for you to transition with this prep academy? And we've seen it on the ice. This guy's flying out there. We saw him last night. But what's it been like for you to adapt to this program?
It's unbelievable. Everyday practices really just helps out. It's high intensity, so when you're out there in games, it's so much easier. Speed, strength, just gets so much better after 3 months.
Coach.
Also, the high altitude training helps him a lot. Again, we're training at 6,200 feet.
Wow.
Pavel's circumstance, the amazing thing is he came from hockey, in NorCal, and to see him progress like that is just phenomenal. It's amazing what he's doing, and again, we have a lot further to go. But again, getting scouted 2 weeks ago, by LMU, that was really a great opportunity for him. And again, that's the goal of Tahoe Prep Academy, is to develop our student athletes to their full potential academically and athletically, and help them get to college.
Coach, maybe you could tell us just a little bit about your testing scenario, how you do things, and obviously it's nice to be able to test your student athletes on the ice and off the ice physically to see where they're at and to be able to gauge their improvement across the season, across a whole couple of years that they would spend at Tahoe Hockey Academy.
Yeah, absolutely. We came in contact with Sports Testing, a company out of Canada, who basically has the only documented proof of development, as we call it. It's a standardized test, and they use state-of-the-art equipment, and it's utilized in the NHL, the NCAA, the USHL, NAL, and we bought the exclusive rights for the West Coast, and so we're operating now with the Tahoe Prep Academy. The amazing thing, Coach, is that we bring out the gates. You can't believe the energy and the amount of effort that's put forth, and we said, hey, we'd like to get this kind of effort in games. It's amazing when you put test scores, how they want to compete. And the great thing about the testing is the ability to test from beginning to end, provide the parents as well as the student athletes documented proof of development, as opposed to taking coaching lessons and wondering and hoping. You actually have the proof in your hands. And the great thing also is the players have the ability to compare themselves to other athletes. So they can see like and similar. They can compare themselves to Shattuck St. Mary athletes. They can compare themselves to USHL or NAL juniors, all the way up to the NHL. And we think that's a great incentive for them as well.
Coach, one question. Let's focus on the season a little bit. You guys were my dark horse prediction to end up taking the league at the end.
I had heard that.
Obviously, first cut several games of the season have not gone your way, but it was kind of mirrors what happened last season. You guys basically, you're in it for the marathon. You're not in it for the sprint. So basically, you build up. You maybe start a little slow. Is it an adaptation process on how the season advances? Explain it. I mean, basically, it seems like you're built up for the playoffs to the final.
Well, you know what? I mean, again, it's a process. We're bringing kids from all over the country together. They have to work together for a while and develop a chemistry. Our training system and the systems we run are a little bit different and unique, and I think that the best explanation I can give, as I explain to the parents, is they're kind of learning a foreign language at first. A lot of them are center, right wing, left wing, and haven't been taught F1, F2, F3. And they're learning this language, and as they get it, and they start realizing and they build their confidence in each other, They start trusting each other. Trust is a huge thing with the coaches as well as the players. Can we trust the player to run the system the way we're asking him to? Can we trust him? And the most important thing for us, I think, that is really, they begin to flourish is we take away the fear of making mistakes. We tell the players we welcome mistakes at Tahoe Prep Academy. We ask one thing, let's learn from our mistakes. By doing so, inherently, they become a better hockey player every time they make a mistake because they learn from that mistake as opposed to duplicating the same mistakes, which, as coaches, have a tendency to drive us a little crazy at times.
I wanted to ask Blake and Pavel, either one of you can take this one. You guys got a game against Edison here later on today at noon. You jumped the Chargers in the standings with your win last night. What do you have to do later on today, either correcting from what you didn't like from last night or what you think you can improve upon to get the W later on today?
We have to keep the same energy we had. First and third period last night was really good, so we got to correct our second period and have 3 good periods instead of having 2, and we'll take the W for sure.
And Pavel, what do you think? Same question.
We just got to dominate in every aspect of the game, you know. Have to come out strong like Coach always says and just never stop, never look back.
All right. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us here. We know you got the game. We want to get you back inside so you can get ready to take on the Chargers. We really appreciate your time here today, and congratulations with everything going on so far this season.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the job you guys do, and we're honored to be here, so thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Thanks,
thank
guys.
you. Thanks, guys. Good luck today. Good luck today. That's Leo Fenn, Blake Selden, Pavel Pustovoy from Tahoe Hockey Academy coming here to talk to us on the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League Facebook Live page here. You're watching the report card, our 4th edition out of 7 so far. 4 out of 7.
No kidding.
Gosh, we were just talking about doing this. What? It felt like last week.
Yeah, it was.
We had the meeting, the brainstorm meeting. And
was that yesterday? Oh, my goodness.
we're 9 days from
Show number 5.
From December 25. So the season is flying by. We've seen a lot of great hockey, and I'm sure there's a lot of great hockey to come.
Yeah, we're going to recap what happened at the Vegas Showcase last week. We're going to get to that in just a little bit. But we do have our Players of the Month from November here with us today. I'm going to start with Division II. We're going to talk about Hunter Bartow from Las Vegas United, unable to join us here. It's a little bit of a distance to get out here to join the show, of course.
We made Trek last week. Come on. You can't do the same thing.
Well,
It took us a year to get out there.
That's true.
We saw enough of Hunter Bartow last weekend to really know what type of player he is. He's a skilled hockey, high hockey IQ type of player. He's got great passing, great vision, and then he's got a couple of line mates that he plays with that really complement his style of hockey. But he's a very tenacious player. He's effective on the penalty kill. He's effective on the power play, and he is very fun to watch.
Yeah, he's a sophomore from Centennial High School out there in Nevada. 6 goals in their 2 games in November, a couple of those on the power play. And more importantly, the Golden Knights got their first win of the season during November. It was that overtime win against Poway that we got to see here in Anaheim.
That was absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding job. You got to give him credit. I mean, that team is actually building up as they go along, too. And you know what? After seeing what they did to others in Vegas last week, I mean, Bartow is basically the straw that stirs the drink in that thing. They're going to be a force when it comes to, and you know what? If I'm saying John Bosco, I might be looking over my shoulder a little bit.
All right, let's bring in our other 2 players of the month. Of course, Hunter Bartow from Division II, but we have our Division I and Division III players of the month from November here joining us. Jacob Furry from Orange Lutheran. He's becoming a regular on the show. He's our first 2-time guest.
Just take my mic. There you go. Just host the show. Exactly.
So Jacob Furry from Orange Lutheran. Patrick Gardner from Beckman over there on the end. He goes to Foothill High School, but representing the Patriots here in the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Jacob, we'll start with you. You guys don't have a game today, but you took the time out to come join us, so of course we do appreciate that. 4 goals, 3 assists in your 2 games against Bellarmine during the month of November. We were talking a little bit before we got on the air. You guys haven't played since the last game of the J. Sarah tournament, not even as much as a scrimmage, but what do you have to do in that whole month span that you have no games before you take the ice against J. Sarah next week?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. We've just been practicing a lot on battle drills and stuff in practice, and we recently just got in the weight room, so we've been hitting those hard. So I don't know, just keep pushing.
Practice get a little chippy after a while when you start those.
Oh yeah. Last practice was really chippy.
Before we get too far into the hockey side of stuff, so I've got a quick story for you. So one day I'm over at Barnes & Noble over at Irvine Marketplace, and I'm with my son, and I'm walking around. We're looking for a few books, and I look over, and there's Jacob Furry studying at Barnes & Noble. So not only is he a heck of a hockey player, he's a good student as well, and he puts a lot of time and effort into it. So told me a lot about you.
Thank you.
No, that's a pretty good story. Hey, I'm going to look at our producer, Christian Hilton. Does Barnes & Noble sponsor us? I don't. They don't, right? Okay.
I should have said an unnamed bookstore. Sorry.
Oh, goodness. But let's talk a little bit about the rivalry with Jay Serra. Now, obviously, everybody's shooting for Santa Margarita this season, but it's always a good time when you guys get on the ice with the Lions. What do you see when you get on the ice against Jay Serra?
I just see like size. To me, I came in as a small guy, so size was a big one. And like you have like Blake Reed, it's like a powerhouse, to be honest. So I see size and just skill. They're quick too, so it's like you got to get on them.
You guys are currently sitting in the second spot right now in Varsity Division I. Santa Margarita way up there. Of course, they've been almost unstoppable this season. What do you think your team has to do to put together to take down the Eagles come playoff time?
We just have to be dedicated, I feel like. We have to work harder in practice. One thing that's like key for us is like coming together as a team. We need to really like bond. So team bonding exercises are needed. Coach Joe, that was for you.
I got a question for you. You're senior right now, or senior?
Senior, yeah.
Senior. What's plans after high school? You gonna still continue playing hockey?
Yeah, I want to play hockey. I'm looking at like a couple junior teams, still hoping for that, and then from there I want to go to like D3 or D1 club college.
Patrick Gardner with us also from Beckman. He was the Division III Player of the Month, senior from Foothill High School, of course. 3 goals, 3 assists for you in 2 games in November, both blowout wins, 12-2 over Servite, 8-0 over Las Vegas. You had a hat trick in that game against Servite. How has Beckman been so dominant this season? Every time you guys get out there on the ice, it seems like it's over before it even starts.
Definitely our chemistry. We have a lot of seniors and juniors. I mean, we've been playing with each other for 4 years, 3 years. So we get each other. We know where we're going to be. We have great coaches. This is Coach Zeeland. This is his first year. He's done great. We have Coach Maxwell, who's a roller hockey coach, actually, but he's phenomenal, and Coach Vince. So I think just with our chemistry and our great coaching, we just get each other. We just go out there. We have fun. We're not stressing. So I think that helps.
Yeah, like I've watched you guys play a couple of times, and I'm very impressed about how free you guys play. And I got to say that there's a lot of talent on your team. If people haven't watched the Beckman team play yet, get out. They have a nice group, they have a nice club, and they're fun to watch. Lots of skill there.
You guys coming up, the rest of your schedule is against teams that you haven't played yet. Now, how do you go into a game? Obviously, at the start of the year, nobody's seen anybody, but now you're getting into the back half of your schedule. How do you prepare for teams that you haven't played, where traditionally you would have played everybody once and then maybe go and play everybody a second time?
Yeah, just continue to play our game. We're dealing with injuries right now, so that never helps, but just continue to play calm, not carefree, but not stressing over things. Just continue to play our game. That seems to work for us.
And speaking of which, you got a big game against Bishop Vermont later on today over at Lakewood Ice at 3:45. How do you prepare for the Lancers, knowing what they've been able to do the last couple of seasons?
Yeah, they're a good team, and it seems like we play that team multiple times every year. Anytime there's a tournament, we're playing them, so we've got like a rivalry going on. But yeah, it's like same thing. Continue to play our game. Don't freak out. They're definitely one of the better teams we're going to play.
All right, that's kind of brings into my question. Is that who you guys consider your rival right now, your number one rival?
I would say Bishop. We're just always playing them.
Now I want to dwell on your personal side a little bit. You're one of a quadruple, right?
Yes, quadruplets.
And all 4 you play on the same team, correct?
One of them actually quit recently.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Still 3 of them.
Yeah.
How are your parents still alive? Honestly, I'm trying to figure that out. I mean, that's some dedication. That's some dedication.
Not broke.
Exactly. I'm not sure. I haven't seen your dad recently. Does he still have hair? I'm still trying to figure this out. But that has to take a huge dedication.
Yeah, it's still there. It's pretty gray though. But yeah, huge shout out to my parents. It wouldn't be possible to be playing if it wasn't for them. Yeah, we don't always get along. But we get each other as well. There's chemistry there. I mean, we've been playing since we were squirts. There's only been 1 year when we didn't all play together.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Who's the oldest?
I'm the second oldest.
Yeah.
My brother David's the oldest by like a minute.
By like a minute? Does he hold it over your head?
Yeah.
Never? Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Let's talk about your team a little bit defensively. The most amount you've allowed in a game this year was 4. You did it once. You allowed 3 once. Everything else has been 2 or less. What is it that you guys do defensively that may even outshine your offense?
I mean, I would say our leaders are on defense. My brother John and our captain. They're actually both captains. Yeah, we stress defense. We have a very good goalie. And we just don't let teams get the puck, which usually helps.
Yeah, I was just going to say they have a lot of skill on the back end, and I just got to give a little shout out to Grayson Yada.
Yeah,
who's a very highly skilled player.
Very smart player.
Yeah, he's fun to watch.
Well, gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on the report card. Congratulations on winning Player of the Month for November. We wish you success in the future. And, Patrick, give our best to your brother John. We were talking before. He got injured last night in a roller hockey game, but hopefully he'll be able to recover real soon, and we'll see him back out on the ice. Thanks, guys, for your time.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Jacob Furry from Orange Lutheran, Patrick Gardner from Beckman, your Players of the Month in Division I and Division III, respectively.
Since I gave Grayson a shout out, I got to give Aiden Petrie a shout out as well. So, anyway, both those guys play for Beckman. Very exciting, fun to watch. What a great representative of their team over there. So, very neat to see.
Yeah, Aiden Petrie is another one of those injuries that
Yep, he's injured.
that Patrick was alluding to. So he's going to be out today in that game against Bish Vermont. They're going to be a little shorthanded, but we'll find out if they can remain undefeated. But Beckman, one of 2 teams in the entire Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League who do not have a loss to their credit so far this season. It's them and Santa Margarita. They're doing something right over there down in Irvine. All right, now we can talk about what happened last weekend.
Oh, my goodness.
Shall we talk about the Vegas showcase?
Where do we
first
begin?
One?
Where do we end?
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, let's start at the beginning. We'll start with Friday afternoon, right? We come into town. Everyone was worried because we were coming into town.
Exactly.
They didn't know what to expect. We had 3 games on the docket on Black Dog Hockey, but there were a lot more games than that during the day. But it started off with Las Vegas United getting a 7-6 win over Central Cathedral in overtime, and the Knights, as you'll see as a theme throughout the weekend, they just ran the table at home for the first time.
You know what? No, what I liked about the Knights that time, I believe they had a 2-goal lead heading into the last 5 minutes, and what happens? They relinquished the lead. But they took some big saves at the end, too, by their goaltender. But then they come back, have the wherewithal and the gumption to come back in overtime and actually score that game winner. And I think that's what kind of kicked off just the whole sense, and they gave the vibe to the tournament right there. It was a great start for the tournament. I think everything just went uphill after that.
What an exciting game to start the event. But like you guys have mentioned, it was fun to see both Vegas teams have success, enjoy an opportunity to play some home games. In fact, the one team had their senior night, which they took advantage of while we were there. And you know, from a overall standpoint, it was just a great weekend, seeing a lot of these different teams compete against each other, and we had some crossover games too, which we hadn't seen before. So some D1 teams playing D2 teams, and we even had, I think, a D1 team play a D3 team.
And you mentioned on top of that senior night, but how great was it to see Yoakum out there? Honestly, basically, I believe he's having surgery today, or just had surgery.
I think he had it yesterday.
So our our thoughts and prayers go out to you. But I mean, the kid's playing basically on one leg, and he goes out there, has a couple goals and an assist, I believe. Just an absolutely
well, obviously an unfortunate
job.
Situation for him to not be able to finish out his senior season, but obviously they decided that it wasn't going to injure the knee any further before the surgery yesterday. So he plays in the game, and you can tell he's not at his best, but he's good enough to make an impact on the game. And jumped in, scored a goal, was involved. I think was he a goal and assist?
Goal and assist,
yeah. Goal and assist.
There you go.
Has a good game. All smiles after the game. It was just obviously very gracious afterwards that he had the opportunity to play one last game.
And it was nice to see them also taking pictures at the end by their jerseys that hung up on the glass and stuff like that. So they really, really bought into it, and congratulations to them.
Yeah, and also we are happy to report that surgery went well. The Vegas Junior Golden Knights tweeted out yesterday that everything went okay, and his timetable return should be as expected. They didn't disclose any of that information, but
well, he did mention in the interview that Chuck did with him that it's probably going to be 5 months of rehab.
Yeah. Yep. So
watch out when he's on too good knees.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be excited to see where he lands from a college standpoint. He wants to play ACHA college club hockey, and if he gets that opportunity, I'll be very interested to follow along with him to see how he does.
They got a good team over there right around the corner in Vegas.
Yeah, he played at UNLV.
And who knows, maybe Vegas be Division I sometime soon. We'll find out about that in the near future.
Well, they're definitely pushing for it. I know Z Khan, who's the GM of the UNLV college club program there, he's definitely been talking about it.
Wow. So the Las Vegas Golden Knights getting it done at both the Division II and Division III levels. The Division II team didn't have a win until that overtime win against Poway that we talked about a little bit ago. Come out with an overtime win against Central Cathedral and get one more later on out in Vegas. So the Vegas Showcase, 21 games. We had 14 teams out there over 3 days. We called 10 of those on Black Dog Hockey, which is where you can see our coverage of the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League later on today. Starting at noon, we'll have Edison and Tahoe, and then at 2 p.m., Damien and Santa Margarita. We're back home here in Anaheim at the rinks at Anaheim Ice. Great facility here, but let's talk about the great facility that we got to go call some games at last weekend at City National Arena, and the hospitality the Knights gave us over the weekend. It was just absolutely phenomenal.
First class. By the way, all first class. And like I mentioned before, we got to see how the town, and although Summerlin's 20 miles out, 15 miles out, something like that, we got to see how the town is embracing the Knights right there. And obviously we saw that beautiful arena, a dual iceplex right there, both of them NHL-sized rinks. Gorgeous place. You have the sun kind of shining in at that, I want east or west end, one of the two. I'm not sure. You're the more. I'm directionally challenged. He's
I think it was the east end.
Yeah, I lose my sense of direction when I'm out of California.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's usually how that happens.
Put you on the spot.
No,
right
that's
there.
okay.
But then on top of it, we saw that they played back-to-back. The Knights played back-to-back road games, and that place you couldn't walk in that place when the Knights were on. It was absolutely.
How many times did we have to do this while we were calling the game? Me and Mike were up at the booth. It was like this. We'd be calling the action right in the high school game. And then all of a sudden you just hear yelling and screaming behind you. You got to look behind. And what just happened? Oh, the Knights scored again.
Yeah, exactly. It was unbelievable. I mean, there's not a place to sit, and it's a pretty huge kind of restaurant bar. I want to say it was seating somewhere around 400 people, and there was not you could not move in that place. It was absolutely outstanding. And you know what? I think the NHL made the right call about putting the Knights a team in Vegas.
Well, there's been a hockey culture in Vegas for quite a few years, but this definitely is putting a shot in the arm. And to see those people in the restaurant watching the game when they're on the road, when the Las Vegas Golden Knights are on the road and they have a crowd in the restaurant at the rink where they practice, it reminds me a lot of what goes on with the San Jose Sharks. The Sharks have their restaurant in their facility where they have watch parties and obviously specials on meals and drinks and all those kinds of things. So the same thing was going on in Vegas, and to see all those fans get behind it, and of course they're having such a great season. Let's hope they don't have too much of a great season for us.
Yeah.
But
second place, there's nothing wrong with second place.
Yeah, that's right.
There's nothing wrong with second place.
So again, they are doing such great things, and it was just fun to be a part of with City National Arena there, with the casino, Red Rocks Casino across the street, and then there's a mall there, the Summerlin Mall, that's just adjacent as well. There's just so many great little things that are going there, and houses that are being built up. So obviously a fast-moving, high-development area. And hockey's going to be at the forefront.
View from that facility.
Hockey's going to be at the forefront of that culture in that neighborhood there. So I would love to see in maybe 17, 18 years hockey players who are from Summerlin, Nevada.
Yeah.
On somebody's roster someplace. And
It's going to be coming soon.
See Summerlin, Nevada. Well, it will be because of what happened now.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to thank Daniel Patterson for all his help out there from City National Arena, helping us get out there to do all those games. While we did have that showcase out there, we did have business to attend to because we had some league games, specifically at Division I. We talked about how great the J. Sarah Damien game was. It was a 5-2 win in that game for Damien. They scored 3 goals in the first period on their first 3 shots, and that pretty much did in the Lions for the rest of the game. They tried to catch back up. Blake Reed tried to help out, but it was all Damien in that one, and they got the big win against the Lions.
No, exactly. I believe that's the whole thing that killed them right there. They were basically that first period we saw Edison play was probably one of the best first periods we've seen a team play. Sans maybe Santa Margarita all season, but it was absolutely outstanding. And I tell you what, if that team plays that way like they did in the first period for the rest of the season, they could still keep Coach Perky's prediction relevant about being a team to watch for in the playoffs.
Yeah, in that game, Seth Davis had a hat trick. Jalen Cordura had 2 goals for the Damien Spartans. Coach, let's talk a little bit about those Spartans and how when it comes to those 2 guys, you better just stick all 5 of your players on those 2 guys to try to stop them from scoring.
Well,
But the 5 goals between them, and they get the big win.
Obviously, those 2 players are high skill, high hockey IQ type of players, but they have some good support staff with Aiden McDonald and Jake Bivens, who do such a great job, and they have some other players too that are getting some things done as well. So it's not just those 2, but obviously both of them fun to watch, very electric. Cordura's goal, the first goal in that game, was a short side backhand, short side shelf. I mean, that's something to watch. And then Seth Davis scored a couple of goals too. He scored he was coming in off the left side. He's a left shot, and he pulled the puck all the way across his body to his backhand and threw it up over the goaltender's shoulder on the other side. That's a pretty advanced move.
They turned you into Chuck on the air. There were a couple of times where even you went, oh boy.
I'll tell you one thing that after that first period, Coach Trotz, after interviewing, boy, he was grinning from ear to ear right there. I mean, there's nothing bad he could say about his club at that point. That was honestly one of the best first periods of hockey we've seen a team play all season.
So the other game that Jay Serra played in Division I, the other Division I matchup we had, the Lions beat the Edison Chargers 4-3. Lions were down a goal. They scored 3 unanswered and were eventually able to hold on in the end. So the Lions split their Division I games over the weekend and helped them jump right up into the middle of the pack in Division I.
A good effort by Blake Reed in that game. Did a lot of really good things. Not to mention Mikey Pellegrino, Jake Hager, guys like that really get things done for the Lions. And we're going to look to those guys to really kind of help them kind of rebound from last night's game here, moving into the second half of the season.
Yeah, 2 goals and an assist for Blake Reed in that one.
We'll see those guys in
February.
Yeah, February.
Yeah.
For the report card.
Oh, that's right.
I was talking about the All-Star game. Okay, so I was talking about the All-Star game.
That too.
Well, we have a couple ways to see
Yeah,
it.
that's
so
exactly.
We'll have those guys on for the report card. It'll be good to be able to talk to them at that point of the year. They'll probably have a pretty good idea where they're going to land in the standings, and then where they're going to end up and who they're probably going to be playing come around playoff time.
I promise I'll have a nickname for Blake Reed by then. So
Been promising that all season. We'll get there eventually.
It's hard to get with Junior. I got to try to figure something
out.
It's a tough one. So
That's a good point. Well, like Chuck said, the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League All-Star Game coming at you February 7th. We'll have coverage for you on Black Dog Hockey. We'll do 3 games at 4, at 6, and at 8, of course. The JV game, the varsity game, and the senior game coming at you once again from Honda Center. Our lone trip over to the big house this year will be the All-Star Game.
Can't wait.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. That'll be your first one with us on the air. Get to go up in the press box with us this time around. It'll be a lot of fun. The other league games that took place over in the Vegas Showcase, the Golden Knights at D3, we talked about that game, their 7-4 win over Woodbridge. The Knights are moving up in Division 3 and looking for better seeding headed to the postseason.
No, exactly. I think that's going to be, as we mentioned before, just an absolutely outstanding. I mean, it's amazing what home cooking does for you, and they're proving that they could be relevant come playoff time.
Well, the D3 Knights, they're a hard-working group. They just get after it. They play hard. They don't pull any punches. They just get the puck. They get it going towards the net, and then they're going to go with it. So they're maybe not the most skilled group, but they play hard every single game.
I like their back line, too. Yes, very nice.
They had a couple of playoff wins last year, too, so they're trying to build on that momentum. Coming into this playoff year. The Division II level, Vegas won that first game in overtime on Friday. They came back. They beat Pacific Ridge on Saturday evening. How about Joseph Tirana with a couple of goals and an assist? We already talked about Hunter Bartow, who was our player of the month, and John Hallett, who you got to talk to, Chuck, after that game.
Oh, like I mentioned, Hallett's just a big boy, but on top of it, he has just a heavy shot. I believe he had 1 or 2 goals. I knew he had a goal in that the game I did interview him in, but he's kind of like the straw that stirs the drink, honestly. I mean, if you need a big hit, that's why he wears the C for that team as well. I mean, basically, they're going to feed off him, and he does an outstanding job in terms of leadership, just an absolutely outstanding player, and I'm looking forward to see him in the second half of the season.
Well, don't forget about Walker, too. He's the third of the 3 Amigo line there with Tirana and Bardo. He's a right shot, good size, gets to the net, and basically when those 2 other guys, Tirana and Bardo, are doing what they do, he finds space, and he obviously benefits from a lot of the work that those guys do, but he finishes. He's a good finisher.
Kind of the guy you forget about, and there he is, bam, right there. That's a line you cannot leave anybody unattended.
Yeah.
We call that the Houdini line.
There you go. I like that.
Of course, with there being 21 games out there in the Vegas Showcase last week, we couldn't get to all of them, but we do have some scores from the other games, which were mostly crossovers. Edison beating Vegas 8-4 in that Division I, Division II crossover. Pacific Ridge, how about this? They bring their JV team out there to the showcase and have them play up at D3 to develop. They lost to Woodbridge 7-2 in one of their games, but boy, that's a gutsy move up there to get those guys some experience.
Pretty exciting time for Pacific Ridge right now. They're doing a lot of great things down there in Carlsbad. They have a great campus. They're very close to the Carlsbad rink. They have a lot of really good people involved. Juan Trevino does a great job of developing his players. So exciting time for them. Obviously, a step up in competition for the JV side, but they're trying to develop their players. They have a vision of what they want the program to be, and they're going after it.
For the varsity games on Saturday, J. Sarah over Las Vegas United 5-1 in a D1, D2 game. Central Cathedral over Woodbridge 5-2 in a D2, D3 game. D1, D2 crossover, Edison over Pacific Ridge 5-2. Another D2, D3 game with Las Vegas beating Woodbridge 6-4. And then Damien shut out Central Cathedral 8-0 in a D1, D2 game. That was late Sunday. Overall, just a great showcase. Got to see a lot of teams play teams that they wouldn't normally play in the regular season. And actually, I mean, if you went out there and played in that tournament, that can help you learn some things about yourself and get ready for the rest of the regular season.
No, definitely, yeah, absolutely. And you know what I loved about the tournament? We heard no complaints whatsoever. Everybody was absolutely happy with the tournament. But we actually gained some fans, and we know that as people start matriculating in from the restaurant and stuff like that. So I think it was just an absolutely outstanding, just a vibe and atmosphere. And you know what? I think it's only going to grow bigger and better, and look forward to next season.
Coach, for the lower level teams that decided to go up and play crossover games to a team at a higher level, what does that do for your morale? What does that do for your skill level going forward in the rest of the regular season?
Well, I think it depends on what the message you're getting from your coaching staff is. If you're telling your guys that, hey, we want to try to expand ourselves, we want to grow, we want to try to press the competition, we want to try to challenge you guys when you guys every time you step foot on the ice, then the guys will get it. If the players and the parents are on board with it, then it makes all the sense. Is that you want to try to develop and grow. You want to get to that varsity level so you're ready to go when you play varsity hockey. And when programs see that and they envision that, then they have a large area for growth.
There were a lot of games that were not played in Vegas last week. We did still have some games here in Anaheim, some in San Diego. Bishop Amat over Upland Christian Academy 9-1. There's that rivalry game. But the team that used to be one now split in two, and the Lancers come out and they get it done. Elijah O'Neill had a hat trick in that game.
Absolutely. It's good to see that team. We've had some close ties with Bishop Amat throughout the years, and with the Egger family especially. It's good to see them move forward and stuff like that. But it's good to see that program go. And there's something extra especially when they play Upland Christian. So it's kind of interesting to see what goes on. And that team's, like I said, that's going to be a tough team, especially. And it seems like I sound like a broken record, but honestly, that's going to be a real tough team come playoff time. Yeah,
they had a win over Huntington Beach last week, also 8-3. Corona Norco shut out Mater Dei 6-0. Los Al over Servite 11-6. La Jolla Country Day 3-2 winners over North County. How about the Tories? All of a sudden up in third place now in Division II, and maybe giving Capo and Bosco a little bit of a run here as the season goes on.
Yeah, I'll be excited. I have not seen them play as of yet, but I know, and I've been around that program enough and coached against them to know that they're another one of those programs that has a great vision. They see what they're trying to do. They're trying to grow things out, and they grow over the course of a season. So I'll be excited to see them and where they end up at the end of the year.
Although you mentioned that too, Coach. It's always nice to have a forecheck, but they predicate on defense and goaltending right there, and I believe that's the backbone of that team. So it's going to be interesting to see how things go as the season progresses.
Final score last week: Beckman 5, Villa Park 3. The Patriots got the victory, and those are all the scores that happened outside of Vegas last week.
Vegas, baby.
Gentlemen, before we wrap things up here on the report card, final thoughts about the weekend in Vegas, and I know I'm looking forward to it next year already.
When are we going back?
Hey,
Exactly.
when are we going back? The commissioner's standing behind the camera.
Well, I'm asking him.
He says 51 weeks, which would be exactly It's been a week since we've been there already. My goodness.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't wait.
What I can say is this: is that it sure does provide a nice opportunity for teams to do a little bit of travel, very easy travel, play some games. And I think the vision at some point is to bring some teams from the outside to be a part of this, maybe some teams from Arizona or Colorado or anywhere else across the country or North America for that matter. So there's a little bit of an outside flavor of some of those games, but also to have some interleague games that like the JCR Damien game. It was very electric. There was a good crowd, and it was a good time. It was a great game to call, too.
Yeah, it was. We had a great time out there in Vegas. I want to, again, thank everybody out with the Golden Knights for their hospitality while we were out in Vegas over the weekend. Well, that's going to do it for our 4th episode of the Report Card. Tahoe Hockey Academy kind enough to stop by. So I want to thank Leo Fenn and Blake Selden and Pavel Pustovoy for their time. Of course, our Varsity Players of the Month from Division I, Jacob Furry. From Division III, Patrick Gardner for stopping by.
Chair for him right there, honestly.
He's becoming our recurring guest.
Exactly.
He's like, I was going to come up with an example of who showed up on Johnny Carson the most, but first of all, I think all the high school kids watching this probably don't know who Johnny Carson is.
Yeah, that's true.
That's probably not good. That shows my age.
Yeah. See, it's scary that you even know it. So that's
well.
I'm just keeping my mouth shut. Yeah, exactly.
And 90% of the time, that's probably a good idea for the 3 of us.
Exactly.
Again, I want to also thank Andy Dickerson from Black Dog Hockey for allowing us to do this and getting the show on Facebook Live. To our commissioner, Matt Blanchard, and also to Art Trottier from the Anaheim Ducks. Don't forget, coming up today on Black Dog Hockey at 12, we're going to have a doubleheader of Varsity Division I action. Edison takes on Tahoe first up, and then at 2 o'clock we'll have Damien and Santa Margarita. For the coach, Mike Perkins, Chuck Lasik, our technical director and cameraman Christian Ilton, I'm Eric Pesolano saying so long from the rinks at Anaheim Ice as you've been watching the Report Card here on the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League Facebook Live page. We're going to do this all again next week, so hopefully we'll see you next Saturday, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend.